Well, so two more questions and we're done. So the next one is after computer chess. You did Support the Girls was your last movie, was that right?
Well, most recent.
Most recent. Yeah, no, sorry. Most recent, what I meant, 2018. And it's funny you say slow because it's still a very recent film. But the next two movies that you did, you worked, I don't know if it would have been the first time, but were those two pictures, now you were working with name actors a lot, Guy Pearce, and you had Regina Hall, and was that when you went to that level? What was that like? What was it like working? Did it feel any different? Was it just organic from where you'd been? Was it more fun? What was the difference?
Well, it's more people around, so it's a little more. People, you hear about guerrilla filmmaking. That I always feel like those military metaphors are pretty apt, because in the, going back to the first movie, Funny Haha, we'd have a crew of like, I think a maximum of 5 people on any given day. And by the time I'm doing Results Support the Girls, obviously, you're kind of getting to a stage where I'm like, I'm not sure I know everybody's name, which is an adjustment to make. And I try to learn everybody's name. But so it's less like the guerrilla opera. It's less we're running through the jungle and everybody, all hands on deck, and everybody's going to do whatever it takes, and more like, oh, okay, this is I'm a general now, which maybe I'm not suited to that, but in part my job is to like tell these young people to go jump on grenades. You've got to, it's a different job. You gotta try to learn how to do that. It doesn't feel as natural to me. But it's all the same goal. It's all trying to get something that feels alive and exciting on screen. And, I think on Results, I learned quickly that both like what is different and what isn't different about working with very seasoned professional actors versus certainly on the first 4 movies, I'm primarily working with people who are not professionals. It's not that different, because ultimately, everybody, no 2 actors, regardless of experience, are the same anyway. Everybody has their own approach. Everybody has their own insecurities, for sure. And in fact, I think I worried going into Results. I was like, oh my God, these actors, all of them have way more experience than I do. And they're going to be so secure. And then you get there and you go, oh no, of course, like their insecurity is kind of part of the job description. Like they're as, if not more insecure than the non-professionals, and that's good. Like that's the kind of language we work in. That's what actors need, to stay vulnerable like that. And that's kind of how you communicate with them, is talking through those things, and that's where you build the performance. So that was all the same. I think what was different, or what I had to learn, was with non-professionals, we would often, because we would start in a place of chaos and instinct and work our way toward order. Like let's make a mess and then kind of figure out where to impose order on it so that we have something that holds together on screen. And of course, with professionals, one thing that they are trained to do, and that most of them are great at, is bringing a lot of order, because these are people who regularly, like step on a set and they got to nail a 10-page monologue, whether or not the director is awake. I mean, these people who live on TV schedules and stuff, so it's incredible the kind of stuff they have to do. And they can all, and so certainly the folks I've worked with are all amazing at that, and they come in super prepared, and that's great. But then I feel like, okay, well, my job now, instead of going from chaos to order, sometimes it's kind of the opposite. Is like, you brought this in and it's bulletproof, and that's amazing, but now let's fuck it up a little bit. Let's
explore.
Let's make some mess.
Did you find the more seasoned folks, would they go with that? Did they like that? Was that a little off, like nerve-wracking?
I think most of them. I think the majority of people I've worked with that's what they're there for, and I've been very lucky, and in a way, I think these things are self-selecting too. I've knock wood or whatever, but you always worry when you're working with professionals and you don't get a whole lot of chance to get to know them beforehand. You know, someone can show up on set and you go, oh my God, what if this person's a diva, whatever. And not to say that that couldn't happen, but at least in my experience, it usually doesn't or won't happen, because I'm making weird, cheap movies. But you know, like you're not going to show up for that if you're not
Right. Yeah.
enthusiastic and eager to do it. So so the people I've worked with have all been wonderful.
So Andrew, final question. I want to thank you for your time. And like I said, when this all passes, if you're in Los Angeles, or we can do whatever, we would love to have you here at the theater. And
where are y'all, by the way?
Oh yeah, see, I want to talk to you about so much, but it'll have to be another time, because you're in Austin. I want to talk to you about Austin, but because you're around such cool people around there, and it seems like you do a lot with the Austin Film Society with the Linklaters thing. And but to answer your question, we're actually downtown, in the downtown arts district. We have the whole second floor of what used to be a toy factory, and we have a booth, and we got 1635 digital. It's a 100-seat house. And then we also show at LA's very first movie palace, which was the first thing Sid Grauman ever built before the Chinese or the Egyptian, called the $1 Million Theater. You can see it in Blade Runner. They like it's in Ridley Scott's 2022, the $1 Million still there. But that's on Broadway, and that's a 2,000-seat house. So we'll do It's a Wonderful Life over at the $1 Million. And then, but we did El Mariachi on 35 yesterday. Cool. We did John Ford here. We did Fort Apache on Wednesday. And we just get Prince, and we have just a great audience. And so that's where we're at. We're downtown in a toy factory.
Fantastic. Excellent.
So the question I always end with filmmakers is a general one, but I want to make it a bit of a B, a two-parter, just whatever you want. Because the one thing I want to ask is, when you and I were emailing, you were intimating that you felt like it was time to make again. And my question again, and I'm the Jew Catholic, I'm very superstitious. Yes. So if you don't want to talk about it, I hate talking about it, so you can just swap that away. But I'm just curious, where you're thinking of going next, and what you're thinking of how to get yourself creative. And the B part is just, what advice would you give to people? Because you've been in the game now for 20 years. Yeah. And, that takes an amazing amount of something to keep making it, because it's such a hard business. So what are you thinking about doing now, and what advice would you have, basically?
Well, we shot something, and we shot a weird experimental kind of, COVID-y thing. It's similar, not a similar movie to Computer Chess, but a similar kind of experience, where I had a, somewhat more conventional thing that I was trying to do. Obviously, when COVID hit, that was, it became very hard to do anything. And as a kind of sanity exercise, which might have backfired, I thought, well, what can we do under these crazy conditions? And I wrote something, and a lot of people did that, and a lot of people got those out the door immediately, and it was very effective. And because I'm slow and perverse, I'm still working on it. So I got a very weird, quixotic experimental project that I'm hopefully close to finishing now.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And then I don't know what's after that. Then I'd like to maybe pick up the thing that I was trying to do pre-pandemic.
But you've made a thing. I mean, that's really the bottom, the headline.
We've almost made a thing.
And you're editing it right now.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. I can't wait to see it.
We'll see.
And then you're just advice or thoughts or
oh man, I don't know. I mean, there's there is no advice. There's just this: if you need to do it, go do it. And advice is kind of gets in the way. I mean, people will always tell you ways to slow down and ways to approach the gatekeepers and things. But I think everybody's so different. And anybody who I would tell, go be an individualist artist, maybe if you're going to do that, you're going to do it. If you're that stubborn, you're already that stubborn. You don't need me to tell you to be stubborn.
Right.
And otherwise you can go have a great career not being stubborn.
And there's an extra credit question I got to ask you. I've got 3 kids. You've got 2 kids.
Yeah.
And I haven't slept in 5 years.
Okay.
You were intimating.
How old are the kids?
My kids are 4, 2, and 7 months.
Good Lord. That's amazing. Well, you look very healthy and awake.
It's an illusion. It's all makeup. But I mean, I love it. I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Of course.
Yeah. And it's that thing. I mean, this is a whole other thing. It's much more, I love movies with all my heart and soul. And I believe in them as much. I'm as committed as I ever was. But if I wasn't a good husband or dad, I just don't think it would mean anything.
Yeah.
So my question is, you have 2 kids, 2? Yeah. So I mean, yeah, you know the sleepless thing. And how did you negotiate being a movie maker and being a dad?
I mean, I'm still I negotiate it every day. There's no answer. It's hard. It was the hardest because pre-kids, I think it's crazy, but I felt like the movies were the most important thing in my life. And both as a viewer, but also as a somebody making them.
Yeah.
And I remember, when I finished Funny Haha, and this was obviously such a small thing, such a tiny operation, and this was in the old film days, and so I remember taking my negative to the negative cutter. I think, so I had a car trunk full of all my negative for the movie, and this was in Massachusetts, and I was driving on icy roads, and I hit a patch of ice. And as I felt myself losing control of the car, just in that brief moment where you're like, you don't know what's about to happen, and it was fine. But in that moment, I didn't think I'm going to die. I thought, oh my God, my negative. And and that was somehow like that was where I was at in my life. Was that it was kind of more important to me that this negative be okay than that I survive my car careening off the highway. And that changed when I had kids. That could no longer be the case. And Computer Chess was the first movie I made as a dad. And so it was also the first time that we'd get to the end of a shoot day and everybody else would be working. Everybody else still had to like wrap up the cables and do whatever else. And I would have to say, see you guys, I got to go home and try to see my kid before he goes to bed. And that was very difficult. That was very painful because it's hard to know how to do this stuff if you're not 100% committed. It doesn't feel right to have other people working when you're not working, but I had to learn to do it. And there's no answer. I've never found an answer. I've never known, where the lines are. You perpetually feel, this is our Jewish Catholic guilt. You're always letting down somebody. You're always letting down your family or your production or both.
Right.
But you take it day by day and do your best.
Andrew, it was a real honor. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And I'm gonna just so you know, I'm gonna maybe cut the heads and tails off this. We're gonna not only, if it's okay with you, not only show it at the screening, but I'd like to show it to our entire audience, and I'll just keep you posted on all of that.
Sounds good. Thank you for having me. Well,
it was an honor, man. And if there's any way we can help in the future, get the word out or whatever, please let me know.
I will do.
Okay, best to your family.
And yeah, hope to see you in LA sometime.
Okay, take care.
Take care.